Yo, what's up guys? I got a special challenge tonight. I'm going to play with very low APM. Now, I'm not just doing this to show off one small thing or something. This is part of a much greater initiative to talk basically about what RTS are all about. You see, I've been doing a lot of thinking recently on, well, in my time, let's say, playing the game. And I have another YouTube channel called @GrubbyTalks at youtube.com/@GrubbyTalks. And on it, I discuss many parts of, let's say, Warcraft 3, including game design, RTS design, and so on and so forth. And one opinion that I've seen a lot, both from RTS seasoned players, casual and hardcore alike, as well as from non-RTS players, as I've been doing my research, looking at other gaming videos, reading many of you guys' comments on my Grubby Talks channel, is that somehow people seem to think that high APM is very important in an RTS. So it's made me do a lot of thinking. Is it? And I'm doing a lot of preparation work on my next video, trying to figure out if it is or isn't important. And in fact, what an RTS is even all about. What are the crucial, indispensable elements of an RTS that need to be in the game in order to justify calling it an RTS? And when you remove certain parts of the game, can you no longer call an RTS an RTS? So I'm coming up with a list of things that are definitely part of an RTS, and that when you take those away, it either becomes something less than, or at least something different than. For instance, take away base building, resource management, and worker management, and what do you end up with? A MOBA. And that is not less than an RTS. Because the purpose of a game is to entertain, and for people to have fun with it. And as such, the only goal a game has is to entertain the players, and for people to feel challenged, and for people to have fun, etc. So, by removing certain elements of a game, you accentuate other elements of the game. And that is not a bad thing. And basically what I'm trying to show here is that while you may not have a lot of APM, you can still enjoy the game. And not just that, but you can even still play well against other players. You see, I've been thinking about the matchmaker. Basically, a matchmaker in multiplayer is like level scaling in an ARPG. The people that you face are always just about the same skill level as you are. And that is what level scaling is in an ARPG. Because of this, you don't really have to be fast. You just have to be, on average, about as good as your opponents. If an RTS is built on 5 different skills, let's say multitasking with APM, base building, locations, build order, unit choices, quality of decision making, battle micro, then all of those are skills that on average have to be as good as your opponent. You don't have to be equally fast as your opponent if you are twice as smart. You don't have to be equally smart if you follow a better build. I'll repeat this one later. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Just gonna focus on this concept, this video idea. So even though my APM might be lower, I might be playing a better strategy. And that is what I'm looking to prove with this video series. This is the first game of potentially many where I am going to be playing quite a bit slower.
Time to die.
I'm trying to stay at between 60 to 90 APM.
My eyes are open.
Work complete.
Which means I can't do a whole lot of battle micro, I can't do a whole lot of efficiency optimizations.
Time for killing, Master.
It's really hard to stay at low APM.
Upgrade complete. Something you're doing?
Some people that do not play RTS think they can never play because they cannot click buttons fast. But then I think of games such as Counter-Strike, and you're also playing buttons pretty fast. Even a game like Magic the Gathering Arena or Hearthstone Battlegrounds has some level of APM required, as although they are turn-based games, there's a limit to the amount of time that you're allowed to spend in your turn. And so it's not the fact that you need any speed at all. It's the fact that you think that the speed minimum requirement to have fun or win games is higher than what you're willing or able to put in. And I disagree with that. I don't think that's true. I think APM is a simple metric that you can look at that looks like a difficult skill expression. It's a very simple thing to look at and simpler than many other things. It's simpler to look at APM and say, I have this much, that much, than to say, I don't know the correct build orders or I don't know what I should focus on in a fight. I am getting dangerously fast. My APM has gone up to 76. So I think it's more of a straw man, really, APM.
Attack will be my next victim.
We're under attack!
Amen.
Yes,
It's an easy thing to blame. And this is not about blame or about proving people super wrong or anything like that. My goal is to help more people potentially enjoy RTS by recognizing that they can have fun with the game and that they don't need to be very fast for the game. So this is a perfect example. I'm getting tower rushed right now by mass headhunters. This is an all-in, and I know this by knowledge, so I'm going to go home and I'm going to defend. I'm going to control group all my peons, get clarity and mana pot on my Farseer, and then we're going to run into his headhunters with speed scroll because he is going to tower me. I know this based on experience. And we're gonna focus his Farseer, as that is the best way to get him to leave this place. Either he loses the Farseer, or he has to leave. And so that was purely a decision that I made. I am getting dangerously fast, but to be honest, I could probably stop playing right now and win. I'll just control the camera.
ready to ride.
Or can I? They're going the wrong way. I forgot to attack move down. Okay, now I can stop playing. Now I can stop playing. So you see, it's not so much the speed here, it's that I recognize his build once I saw all the headhunters. And even though I lost a lot of health when he attacked me on my Farseer because I'm slow, and even though my shadow got surrounded and he did a surround, which is a mechanically more demanding act, just because of the decisions I made, the creep camp that I took, the level 3 that I got, the fact that I TP'd home before I got attacked, the fact that I make a lot of units and don't make any needless investments such as upgrades that won't finish on time, the fact that I got a mana pot early that helps me to get another chain lightning and a set of wolves out in a all-in situation, pulling 5 peons. These are all decisions that do not require a whole lot of speed, but they do require knowledge. And I think there's people that are really good at games. They're really good at thinking. They're good at making decisions. They feel very comfortable playing complex games such as turn-based strategy games where you can pause the game, you can think things over, or maybe single-player card games. They're actually really good at thinking, very likely many better than me, but because they lack the experience or maybe the speed, they think, oh, that's not for me. But that's not true. You can really enjoy games like Warcraft 3 and RTSs without being particularly fast, so long as you have the desire to learn about games, to learn concepts, to learn some of its concepts. Now, Warcraft 3 is pretty easy to learn. in its initial concept. If you've never played RTS, you would actually need to learn that left clicking is controlling a unit, left drag click box selects units, right click issues commands. That right click is a smart command that can mean start mining from the gold mine. The fact that you can rally point buildings to immediately put peons to work when they finish on that given resource, that you can rally your barracks on your hero to reinforce all your units that you make when they finish straight to your hero, and the fact that you can select things, press Ctrl 1, and then when you're doing something else, you can hit 1 twice to both select and center on your previous selection. These are all basics that many of us take for granted, that may feel a little intimidating to people that have never played RTS before, but once you really master all those, it's really just a case of learning what do these, 8 or so buildings do, and then you just start playing. And there's a lot of fun to be had without the super sweaty one-on-one, hyper-competitive esports, 250 APM type of games that you play. In fact, almost every multiplayer game has a form of single player. And I realized that many people that play RTS do not just like the feeling of dancing circles around their opponents with micromanagement and sweaty battles, or to pump out extra resources via a hyper-efficient base layout and base build order. There's many things that people like in RTS games, such as, yes, the joy of multitasking in APM, but there's also the part of base building, which is fun, worker management and resource allocation, which I think games like Age of Empires 2 and 4 are really, really good in. StarCraft is pretty good in it. And Warcraft 3 actually has very light worker management and resource allocation. It's very, very light indeed. Warcraft 3 ranks more highly on battle micro, battle enjoyment. Then there's things that people like, such as spectacle, loud, visually and auditorily pleasing abilities, powerful abilities like War Stomp and Shockwave, Animate Dead, Volcano, And Warcraft 3 also has the single player quotient that covers pretty much the first 3 minutes of any game, where first of all you're doing base building and then you're doing creeping. And creeping is essentially a single player game. Warcraft 3 only starts to become a multiplayer game once one of the two players decides to harass or attack the other, or you meet in the middle. And while that may be 2.5 minutes into the game in some games, it could be 4 minutes in another. So you get anywhere from 2.5 to 4 minutes of single player gameplay when you play Warcraft 3, which is fun. I was talking to my wife earlier today, and she has played both StarCraft 1 as well as StarCraft 2 and Warcraft 3. And StarCraft 1 was her introduction to the RTS genre, and she fell in love. But she never really liked one-on-one. She just played big game hunters and stuff, because it felt more chill and, less sweaty knife alley fight. So what is StarCraft 1? It is purely an interactive gameplay almost. Yes, you have some base building, but it is very heavy on harass and interaction with the opponent. So it's a very true RTS. Warcraft 3 is a little bit less of a true RTS, because besides taking the 5 gameplay elements that an RTS has, it has also removed or weakened some of them, like base, let's say worker management and resource management. It is really weaker on those in terms of skill expression and depth than Age of Empires and StarCraft. But it hasn't just weakened or streamlined some of those gameplay elements. It has also improved, or let's say added other gameplay elements, like RPG elements, which is where the creeping comes in, and the hero fantasy and the hero power growing fantasy and so forth. So yeah, there's a lot of fun to be had with the game that isn't just interacting with your opponent and pulling the rug from under their feet and disrupting their economy. And that's why when she started playing Warcraft 3, she did enjoy one-on-one. And I'm thinking, why is that? Why is Warcraft 3 one-on-one fun for her, but StarCraft 1 one-on-one is not? And it's because there's a lot of fun things to do in the game. It's visually appealing, there's cool game music, there's creeping, and then eventually, yeah, you get attacked. But you still had fun. So part of learning in Warcraft 3, or part of learning in RTS and actually enjoying learning the process and getting onboarded into a new game, is to make all the parts of learning of a game fun. That's what it comes down to. Not the tedious, oh, I need to learn a build order so I don't get Zergling rushed, or so I don't get Dark Templar rushed, and then I just immediately lose if I don't have the right build order. No, Warcraft 3 is actually more forgiving. It is technically a more casual RTS. It is more fun for the casual, perhaps, than a game like StarCraft, because it is more forgiving. It is a bit slower paced. There's elements of single player, aka interacting with the map, and then eventually, yes, there's battle. And there's so much skill expression in mid and late game Warcraft 3, right? But you don't have to be a pro to enjoy the game. And that's why I am showing this low APM series. And if you like to see more of it, hit subscribe on this channel, and maybe also give a subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com at Grubby Talks. That was the sponsor of this video. And let me know what you think about the low APM series, and if you think that it is helpful or at least enjoyable for you to watch low APM games to see the quality of decision making. Okay, see you next time. Bye. Thank you. Bye. Yo guys, what's up? You just saw the low APM challenge, and during the time where I had 40 APM, my opponent had 108 APM at 2 minutes into the game. Let's go take another look at somewhere in the mid game and to see where we were at, just to kind of compare the level of APM. At 8 minutes into the game, Arcturus was at 125 APM and I was at 88 APM. Even though I tried to click almost nothing, I still managed to accidentally get to 80 APM. So it is very difficult for me, even though I'm trying to have low APM, it is very difficult to recognize just how slow you have to be to say, I only have 40 APM or I only have 60 APM. Although I'm trying to prove that low APM is not a barrier to entry into RTS, if you have 40 APM, I think you're most likely better served playing a game where you can pause, such as Total War Warhammer 3 or Dune Spice Wars. It's an RTS as well. They're RTSs, they're fantastic games, but you can pause and think, and then you're probably better off playing single player, which is awesome and not shameful at all. No one will laugh.